Oh,
Hi friends, and welcome to this week's class of Dead Funny University. I am your host and fellow student Kelsey, and we are continuing with our Zelda semester. This is the second class. I'm not totally or third class. Ooh, I'm totally wrong. This is the third class in this semester, and helping us learn is the wannabe Kokiri child, Chris. Is that accurate?
That's fair.
Yeah. How you doing, Chris?
Doing good. Doing good. Ready to hit up some more Zelda.
Good. At the end of our last episode, we actually talked about whether or not Link was dumb or mute. And I know dumb is thrown around more often by 10-year-olds that are trying to be mean to another 10-year-old, but it does have an actual medical definition, and it does mean unable to speak or unwilling to speak. Temporarily unable or unwilling to speak. And so it is different than mute, where you completely lack the capacity. So I was correct. And I realized nobody but me cared about this, but I cared, and I looked it up, and I'm bringing this information to all of you.
You did.
So, and if any of you in the comments think that I'm wrong, please link me to a definition that shows me I'm wrong. And if I'm offensive, definitely link me to that one too, because I don't want to be that either. So, Chris, what game are we jumping into today?
Well, we're still not in a game yet. This will be the last episode before we hit a game for a while, I believe. Okay. Let me refer back to my timeline here. Yeah, because then we go into the Force era where we're going to hit Minish Cap, Four Swords. Then we'll hit a little bit more of the Hylian War, which we've actually already talked about. So we're actually probably going to skip that. And that was more of the asshole dick brother situation. But
Okay.
if I miss anything by then, we'll talk about it. But Ocarina of Time will be after that. So then I'll be super pumped because that's my favorite one.
You're just trying to get us to Ocarina of Time as fast as
talk
possible.
About. Yeah, you know. Nah, like I said, four swords and Minish Cap, all that will take us a little bit. Okay. But anyways, the reason why we never hear Link talk is because of immersion. When Link was first conceived, Link was just there to be an avatar, a way for the player to introduce themselves. So he wasn't given any dialogue or personality for that matter. The sole reason for them not wanting Link to ever talk was so that way the player could be immersed and feel like they were the hero of time.
So he was meant to be an empty vessel.
Pretty much.
Okay. Got it.
And that leads to what I was going to talk about at the end of the last episode. We got a Zelda animated cartoon series a long, long time ago. And man, was it terrible.
Really?
Yes. Link would be the guy that you fucking hated. The cocky asshole, womanizing piece of shit. He was such a douchebag. It was ridiculous. It literally made me not like Link whenever I first watched it. I was like, wow, like who thought this was his personality? Because in the game, he's very helping guy. You spend a lot of time going around fucking gathering up chickens for people and shit like that. Like, very helpful guy. This dude is I'm about myself. Fuck everybody else. I'm the badass hero. The princess is mine just because I am the hero type deal. That's the kind of guy Link was in that show. And it was terrible.
So baffled. Like, womanizing asshole was just the last words I expected you to say. Yeah. Sounds terrible.
It was bad. It was very fucking bad. I hated it. And I mean, it was the era. It came out in 1989. It had one season, so obviously it didn't fucking do well.
What else was around in 1989 that made them think this was a good idea?
I mean, I feel like that was just kind of like the way things were back then.
I mean, not all of them.
Jackass.
I mean, I just looked up like major movies of 1988 to see like if there were any major characters in those movies that would like lead me to understand this. And Rain Man is not that movie. Who Framed Roger Rabbit is also not that movie. Coming to America and Crocodile Dundee 3 are not helping me. Excuse me, Crocodile Dundee 2 before somebody rips my face off. So yeah, that doesn't offer me any answers.
Yeah, it was bad. And I mean, even his artwork, 'cause I'm trying to get a picture of it now, even the artwork of Link looked fucking terrible. Like, I was not a fucking fan. And I was so excited whenever I heard about it too. I was like, yes, please, Legend of Zelda cartoon. I'll watch it because it's obviously already out by the time I was born. And I fucking was trying to go back and fucking watch it. I was like, this is terrible. This is bad. Like, yeah, that's our buddy Link and Navi.
Hate.
Yeah.
Absolutely hate.
Yep. I agree. It was terrible.
I also hate Navi because it's like they took Thumbelina and then tried to make her like I have no idea how that Navi behaves, so I could be totally wrong, but it looks like they took Thumbelina animation and then just tried to make her more 50s housewife and delicate, and I don't like that. Thumbelina was a badass. Thumbelina, what the fuck? Tinkerbell, god damn it. I'm embarrassed. Thumbelina
Oh,
wasn't a
wow.
particular
Here we go.
badass.
This picture right here sums up not only Link's personality, but Zelda's typical face every time he fucking opened his mouth. Right here. Perfect. If a picture is worth 1,000 words, that's it right there.
Well, thing number
That's
one,
it.
he looks like a jackass. Thing
Yep.
two, she doesn't look that nice either, but at least she doesn't look like a jackass. She looks a little bit Karen in this, and that
Mhm.
absolutely looks like a meme.
Mhm. Well, that is an actual still shot from the anime. So,
I'm also
or
trying to
animated
picture
episode,
Zelda
should I
as
say?
like this well-trained heroine who's a complete badass with her powers and things like that and waiting for a hero, and then this womanizing asshole shows up, and that is exactly the face that I would make in that situation. I'd be like, "You are the worst. Get away from me."
That's fair. That's pretty fair. And then they also decided to like go full on pig Ganon as well, as far as and they made him more humanoid looking pig, like actually their
Mm,
size and stuff. So they experimented with that versus just having a Ganondorf because obviously Ganondorf wasn't a thing yet. So
yeah. Yeah, he doesn't look great either. I don't actually like this animation style that much.
no, it was terrible. Yeah, it was more of a cartoon than anything else for sure. So yeah, not a fan. No, not a fan.
The
So
Ganondorf looks better than the Zelda and the Link do, though. At least in the shots that you sent me.
yeah.
Because Zelda and
Well,
Link are very flat, and that Ganondorf is at least like shaded and attempting to be 3D.
I'll say this. That was a dark time for Zelda fans. That's the stuff that we don't talk about normally. Like there was a Zelda cartoon. When did that happen? What?
All right.
Oh man! But I
Zelda
will say
list.
this though. I got jebaited, and I might have told this story on a podcast before, but I got jebaited. So long time ago, when my dad was still around, he showed me something that I got super pumped for, and it was a trailer for a live action Zelda movie. And it looked okay. It didn't look great, but I was just happy that Zelda was getting a movie because I was like, if
Hmm.
this starts, then more video games will, and then maybe sooner or later we'll get a Final Fantasy movie. So, live action Zelda movie. Like I said, Ganondorf was probably the worst looking part of the fucking trailer. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. Um, but I was super pumped for it, and I was so excited that I let my excitement not pay attention. And the very end of it was like this movie's coming out on fucking what was it? It was something but April 1st.
April 1st or
And
something.
I just didn't even see it. And my dad thought I would notice it right off the bat, and I didn't. So I was just like,
Oh.
"Oh, we're going to go see that." And then he was like, did you not look at the date?"
Did
And
you
then he
not
fucking
put
went
this
back and showed me
together?
the date. Yeah, and I was like,
Yeah.
"God damn it!" I was so excited.
I'm sorry.
It didn't happen. But luckily for you, I found a picture of Ganondorf, and he looks so bad. That's literally what it looked like in the trailer.
Oh, not good.
He looked bad.
Oh, not
It was terrible.
good. Oh boy.
Yeah. Like it was obviously like a fan made thing. It wasn't like anything crazy, but the CGI in the trailer looked good. Which, by the way, after we finish Majora's Mask, I'll send you. It's called a short movie, and it's called The Legend of Zelda, and it's just Majora's Mask. And it was these people who came together, a group of animators, and they made a full on 20-minute Majora's Mask animated movie. And when I say animated, I'm talking CGI animated, not like cartoon or anime looking. It's CGI animated.
Hmm.
And it is fucking breathtaking. It's like if a group of animators could get together and do this for free, Nintendo can give us a fucking good Zelda movie and just make it all CGI. I would watch the shit out of that. I'd watch it multiple times. Like if there has to be the one exception, and because I just saw it because I looked up the live action Ganondorf, I'm seeing a whole bunch of like this player should play this person, this person should play this person. Danny DeVito as Tingle would be amazing. That we need to throw him in. CGI movie with real life Danny DeVito as Tingle. That would be great.
Honestly, I don't know if you've ever watched any interviews with him, but his personality, I think, would fit what little I understand about that character. I think it would just, yeah.
Yeah, no, I love Danny DeVito. Like his actual personality really fits like his character Frank on Always Sunny, in my opinion. I don't know if you ever saw that show or not, but Always Sunny is really fucking good.
I did not. I was told by people who know me pretty well I wouldn't enjoy it, so I never.
No, you wouldn't. Not even close. It's not your humor, as you call dumb humor. It's not your humor at all. I think the show's fucking amazing.
Not my thing.
I think the show's fucking amazing. But yeah, I think you would probably make it 5 minutes into the first episode and you'd lose interest immediately.
Okay.
The later seasons it gets really, really good, but I still don't think that you would care enough to suffer through the first couple to get the character building to then care enough about the characters for the later seasons to be good enough.
And I couldn't jump in the later seasons?
You could, but they do a lot of callbacks.
And
that's where it would kind of kill you.
My head.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That's where it would kill you. So, but yeah, anyways, enough about Danny DeVito, even though he's great.
These DFUs always have to have at least one sidetrack, like just one.
Yeah, we have to go down a rabbit hole somewhere, especially if I'm on. Like, we have to find something. My OCD and my fucking small little, attention span. I'm gonna grab something and be like, oh, let's talk about this to an extended length. So,
I was gonna say your OCD takes you on rabbit trails, like
the extended length it does. It makes me feel like I have to complete my thoughts.
Got it.
So,
got it. Okay, that
like I've been staring at this, and I have to now close it out, or I'm going to keep jumping down rabbit holes here. But Idris Elba would be great as Ganondorf. I love that man in anything. He'd be great.
Who was that? Anyway. I'm sorry, I was laughing through it.
Idris Elba.
Oh my god, I love him. Yes,
I love him in anything he's in. He's fucking fantastic.
Totally agree.
Anything. Put him in anything, and I'll be like, "Yep, that's that guy."
Watch that Hot Ones episode; it's really good.
Oh yeah, I did. Oh yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he's lovely.
Well, he couldn't save cats. Nobody could save that, but
no. But it's not that he didn't try.
No, he's a great actor. But yeah, so what we're gonna kind of more talk about here. Once again, this is unfortunately another one of the short ones, but this should be the last one for a while. Is more of the structure of the seal of the sacred realm. And by what I mean by that is kind of how the stuff was sealed away. I kind of left it up to imagination a little bit on the last episode, and that's because we get more into the era of chaos / era of prosperity. So basically the chaos is basically Hyrule was being created, all these different races were being born, tribes are popping up, a little bit of war because people wanted to know more about the Triforce. As I said, it wasn't no more secret knowledge, it was more public knowledge. So we had the great sage Rauru, Rauru. The great sage Rauru, who basically built a temple on top of a temple. And it sounds weird, but it is what it is. So the bottom temple was basically where the Triforce was. The top temple was where, and this is where things are going to get tricky, the top temple was where the Master Sword was kept. And it was sealed along with a pedestal for 3 keys that were scattered and given to 3 different races to keep and hold on to as treasures and to never give away unless they were confronted by the hero of time. Now, the reason why this gets tricky is because the next era we go into is the Force era, but those keys only pertain to Ocarina of Time. So we actually don't revisit these keys for a little while. I know, it's weird. The timeline is out there.
That is a little strange. Okay. So do you actually in this... I mean, this isn't attached to a specific game. So
no. This is basically... This is the even better part, because Matt, talking about the timeline, this is backfill CGI, animation, cinema, strips, whatever you want to call them, cinematics of Ocarina of Time. So it's even more confusing because this stuff takes place in that game, but before you actually get to play the game. So it's the before shit that's callbacks during the game. So that's how you learn about it.
Mhm.
But it also takes place 2 games that are before the timeline, and both those games also came out after Ocarina of Time.
Okay, so but my question is, during these other games that took place in between when supposedly this happened and Ocarina of Time, is there more than one Master Sword in the world?
It's the
'Cause
same Master Sword every time
then how is it sealed away?
because Link doesn't use the Master Sword in those other 2 games.
Oh.
Mhm.
Interesting.
He's not always destined to get the Master Sword because it might not be what's needed.
Huh. But the bottom temple hosts the Triforce. Isn't he always getting the Triforce, or was that not used in the other 2 games either?
No, the Triforce isn't necessarily always used in each game. It's more of like the fact that he's a Triforce hero, so he can still use his power without the Triforce. A lot of those.
Oh.
So basically, the 2 games that came before it are more of like, for instance, one of them that I can say the name of, and you'll get right off the bat why. Four Swords was one of the games in between. So he didn't need the actual Master Sword because he had the sword that turned him into 4 different links.
Oh! Yeah, that would do it. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So stuff like that is more of the reasons why that wasn't like a big deal.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. Continue.
But anyways, so basically this whole temple thing was created by 7 sages, and as I said, we talked about Rauru. The other sages were from the other tribes of people. So as you look at the picture that you see here, you have the king of Hyrule in the middle. You have the highest princess of the Gerudo next to him, the highest princess of the Zora next to her, and then big boy Goron next to her. And then on the other side, you have a little Kokiri person. I think it's a female, but I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure. And then you have one of the Shikas. And then next to her is Rauru, who we talked about. That was the one that kind of mainly did a lot of this stuff. The reason why he's important is because in Ocarina of Time, and I think it's made its appearance, but it wasn't as big of a deal, is before you had Navi, and even after you had Navi in Ocarina of Time, you would run into that owl. And that owl is who kind of led you to the Temple of Time and where you needed to go to get the keys to get into the Temple of Time to be able to get the Master Sword. Because he was part of him.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
So yeah, a little bit of back and forth and shit like that and running back and forth. And like I said, the timeline's a little messed up here, but once we get past this, it kind of smoothens out, especially when it's like, okay, you go down this line and it leads all the way to the end,
Mhm.
and then you back all the way back up, and it's like, all right, cool, alternate universe. We go all the way down this line till we end, and then back all the way up, and then down another one, and then we're done.
Mhm.
So yeah, so that's basically the era of peace, or not peace, but prosperity and chaos. Like I said, it just there was like said a lot of wars happened between races trying to figure out where the Triforce was at, so that way the race could take the Triforce. But basically, the original sages were trying to bring peace to make sure that nothing would ever happen, so that way no one would ever take the Triforce. Unfortunately for the Gerudos, they're the ones that get the fuck up because, like as I said, Ganondorf was reincarnated as a Gerudo as a child and became this tyrant, and then ended up working his way up to go to Hyrule and working his way through trying to get the Triforce by taking over the kingdom and so on and so forth in Ocarina of Time.
Okay. So this Okay, so I'm trying to think through the fact that like
Mm-hmm.
Hildia and Zelda have already been created, Link's already happened, and Demise has been put down, and then this happens in an effort to make peace and have all the races agree on peace and sustain peace.
Because they wanted the future generations to not know anything about the Triforce.
Oh, okay.
The plan was to slowly make the Triforce a myth to disappear from time, so that way people would stop looking for it. So like the only people who really started to know about it afterwards were just the royal blood of Hyrule whose job was to keep it a secret and keep it guarded, which would be Zelda and whoever the king of Hyrule is, which would be her father, and so on and so forth.
That's an interesting strategy, given that I think of like Hitler when he came into power. One of the first things that he did was he was sending people all over the planet looking for different pieces of power. Like he tried to find
Mm,
the Ark of the Covenant. He tried to find other things that were, and like not even Christian things, like from any religion, like pieces of power to bring to him to make him more powerful. And many of those things ah, haven't been seen for generations if you believe they exist at all. And so those things I would qualify as myth. And I don't know that we're ever going to reach a point where I'm going to use the Ark of the Covenant for example because it also showed up in like an Indiana Jones movie. Like I don't know that humanity's ever going to reach a time where we're going to consider those things so mythological that nobody's ever looking for one. Like I guarantee you somewhere
mhm.
right now on this planet somebody in the middle of 2020 is looking for the Ark of the Covenant. Like I guarantee it.
Yeah,
And that's
that's
also
fair.
true for the other religious artifacts. I think it's
The
an
Holy
interesting.
Grail.
What was that?
I said the Holy Grail.
Yeah, the Holy Grail is another really good one. It's just I think it's an interesting strategy of, oh hey, if we make it mythical, then nobody will look for it. I very much see at least humanity, which none
And
of
it
these are
goes the
humans,
other
but I
way.
see
Yeah.
humanity go in the other direction, going, no, if it's
Mhm.
mythical, then I will only reach for it if it times are super desperate, but times get super desperate. So
Yep. No, for sure. And then
interesting.
for those of you who are Zelda fans, and it seems like what I'm saying is a tad bit out of whack, remember some of this stuff I'm trying to save till we get to the specific game. So when we get to Ocarina, there will be a lot of callbacks to these episodes
Hmm.
to kind of refresh Kelsey, get her up to speed, and then make it make a little bit more sense because I'm being a little vague with some of the things that I'm throwing out there on purpose because I don't want to spoil too much for Ocarina. I want Ocarina of Time to be a good episode, a nice long episode, but I can't do that whenever some of this information is given away earlier. Whenever in reality, I can still tell it at that time. And it's like, okay, cool, that makes sense now. Boom. Versus just giving it to you now and then getting Ocarina and being like, all right, well, let me rehash like fucking 20 minutes of information. Doesn't make
Also,
sense.
what Chris is not directly saying, but I will directly say, we record these sometimes weeks and weeks apart. And so by the time this one comes out, we may not actually have recorded Ocarina of Time yet. And so I may not know everything. So if you put it in the comments, Chris and I are going
Mm-hmm.
to see it. And you
Yeah.
may actually spoil that episode for me or other people later. So I'd say don't put spoilers in any of these comments. Put
Mm-hmm.
corrections if there's something that's blatantly wrong, because we're never trying to be wrong on the internet. That's not a safe
No.
place to be incorrect. But there may be pieces that would give away too much of later games and later conversations that we're having in later classes that we don't want to do just yet. So, no spoilers, yes corrections.
And so now something that I kind of kept from you last episode,
Mhm.
or not last episode, the episode before that, when I was wearing my black shirt with the crest of Hyrule on it. Basically, now I can talk about that. So the crest of Hyrule is actually based off the crest of Helia. Crest of Helia was just the bird. And it's
Oh,
funny because we talked about the fact that Hyrule's job is to keep the Triforce a secret. Well, what is the first thing that Hyrule does? They take the crest of Helia because that's obviously Zelda, and then they add the Triforce to the crest and call it the crest of Hyrule.
got it. But then they stick a dumbass triangle on the bottom that I thoroughly disagree with.
Mm. I don't know. That's not actually part of the crest. I think that was just part of the decoration of the shield.
Okay.
That's not actually part of the crest because the crest, I'm looking at the crest right now. The crest is just the bird and then the Triforce above the bird. But it's funny to me that their job is to keep this Triforce a secret, and the first
Mhm.
thing they do as their
Is
family seal is put out there, "Hey, Triforce
yeah,
has
because
something to do with our family because it's our seal."
yeah, that's a little dumb. Because then it never
Yeah,
has the possibility of like fading from public memory. Like it
nope.
guarantees the mythical status, or excuse me, it guarantees the legendary status.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's also a real thing, having people randomly be like, you know what? I'm gonna wander around looking for that thing. Like, oh, bad call, bad call. That was not well thought out.
Yeah, just a little bit. But hey, it is what it is. they did what they wanted to do.
Yeah, but I can
That's
still
what we
judge them
did.
for it. They're mythical characters. Or mythical. They're fake characters. They are characters in a game. They do not really
How dare
exist.
you?
I know I'm the
This is
worst.
life.
I'm sorry. I saw a meme about from Gen Z to millennials, and they're like, they actually believe that their Harry Potter houses exist. I'm like, no, I don't believe it exists, but I know which one I fucking am. Just
It's actually funny that you said that because I just saw a Harry Potter meme before we started recording, and it was Harry talking to his son, and his son was like, "Dad, what if I wind up in Hufflepuff?" And he's like, "Then don't fucking come home."
not true. That's
I
terrible.
was like, "That's
Some of my
hilarious."
favorite people are Hufflepuffs.
There
It's okay, I can say that one of my friends is a Hufflepuff. All right, I'm done.
you go. But yeah, so that's kind of what the Temple of Time looks like. Even has the Triforce symbol on the fucking wall
God.
on the outside.
Well,
So
in
what
case
Triforce? Huh?
yeah, in
What?
case you got there and you weren't sure what you might be looking for, they just were like, "Here, we'll make it very blatantly apparent."
Mm-hmm.
But the Master
Mm-hmm.
Sword they'll hide, so there's that.
Yep. And
Oh,
it's in those doors.
I love this graphic because this is clearly from that video game era where they developed textures really well, and so you get this like amazing texture on one piece of it, but then not all textures are created equal, and so you get that sky that is much less impressive than the church. That's fantastic. I love that.
Yep. Yep.
There's just a very distinct nostalgia that that particular image brings back.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at a version of the Hylian shield right now that actually doesn't have the golden triangle, and then I'm actually looking at another version that doesn't have the bird, just the Triforce with the golden triangle underneath it. So, there's that.
I maintain that the golden triangle was a bad idea. All right, do you have anything else that you want to tell me, my friend?
I think that about wraps it. Like I said, unfortunately, this is another short one, but the next one we will be moving into the Force era, which will cover over Minish Cap and Force Swords. And then after that, we will finally be moving into my favorite, which will be the era of the Hero of Time, aka Ocarina of Time.
That's gonna do it for our second class. Damn it, I haven't fixed my notes. Our third class on Zelda.
Third.
Jesus Christ.
First, second, third, fuck!
It's exactly what's going through my head right now. I'm actually blushing. Hopefully the chroma
That
key
part
just
is, I've
takes
been
that
wanting to send you this fucking picture of the crest, but I didn't want to disrupt you because you were already having so many issues yourself. I didn't want to add to it.
This is so embarrassing. All right.
But fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it. Just send me the damn picture because I have fucked up twice now, and one of them I cut out so you guys don't get to see it, but it was real dumb.
The main point to point out between these that I was trying to tell you was that between the Hylian crest, which is really the Hylia crest, and the Royal crest, is that they actually replaced the head of the bird with the Triforce.
Ah, nice. Okay.
So yeah.
Hmm.
Now you can try and not fuck up an outro.
Okay. I will give this a shot. Everybody, hold on to your chairs. Maybe hold your breath. Don't hold your breath. Please keep breathing. That's going to do it for our third class on Zelda. If you enjoyed any of this content, please like and subscribe and turn on the notifications so you know when to come to class. Interact with us in the comments and our Twitch and Twitter links. And Chris, thank you for joining us, and we will see all of you friends in the next class. Bye, everybody.
Woo-woo.